Today we're going to be talking about organizing information and ideas. This is the module 1 part 5. So to start off with paragraphs. We've talked about paragraphs a lot over the past 4 lectures that we've done. So this is basically how to organize. This lecture will be about how to organize your writing. So obviously paragraphs are a must, they're very essential. So it is important to decide on the order of your writing. So once you have planned for your ideas for a piece of writing, you need to work out the best order for your paragraphs. So in both fiction and non-fiction writing, paragraphs give you a writing shape. In a short story, writers often build up the most exciting moment. So similarly, in an article or speech, writers tend to lead to the most important point. So an example, here is an example of a non-fiction writing task. So write an article. The question is to write an article to inspire young people to follow their dreams. So here's a suggested plan. Does anyone know what this plan would be called? We went over it yesterday. So this plan is called a flow chart. I hope some of you got that right. So obviously it starts with an introduction, paragraph 1 and 2, 3 and 4, paragraphs 5 and 6, and then a conclusion. It is your choice what to name the paragraph. It doesn't have to be 1 and 2. It's all your choice, but obviously it starts with an introduction and the conclusion. So you can see the person who planned this took out brief subheadings and branches out of the introduction, out of what paragraph needs, out of what the paragraph 3 and 4 needs, and out of the last 2 paragraphs. So the explanation of the plan, it was that in the plan, the introduction includes examples of dreams that this audience might have. The purpose of this article is to inspire young people to follow their dreams. So the benefits are included in the introduction, so making this purpose clear. The next paragraphs use examples from real life as an inspiration. The first paragraph refers more generally to successful individuals who have overcome all odds, and the next one deals specifically with J.K. Rowling and her story of perseverance. So the next section looks at difficulties, and this is an inspirational article, suggests ways of overcoming these. And then the article offers advice for young people to help them achieve their goals. And then the final paragraph reminds the readers of the benefit of following a dream, bringing the article full circle. So obviously, as always mentioned, the conclusion brings the full circle together. So notice how this plan builds up and deals with one point in each paragraph. So about paragraphs, so every paragraph has a specific point to talk about. So as paragraph 1 and 2, inspirational celebrities, and paragraph 3 and 4, overcoming challenges. 5 and 6, it talks about taking small plans and having a plan and staying committed. So the main point is that paragraphs have a key point, and then the conclusion brings it full circle, and that's how you organize your writing. Okay, so signposting and linking ideas. The first sentence in the paragraph should contain the main idea. The sentences which follow support and expand upon the initial sentence, so they add to the main idea. This is true in both fiction and non-fiction writing. The first sentence is sometimes known as a topic sentence because it features the main topic or point of the paragraph. For example, fiction, Hardy was a kind man. He gave generously to the charities and always had a smile for whoever came into his shop. Around his eyes were wrinkles that looked like rays of sun drawn by a child. Non-fiction. School uniform is comfortable, invariably made from man-made material such as polyester and nylon. The trousers, skirts, and blazers that many students are forced to wear every day do not allow the skin to breathe. So you can see the difference. On the fiction writing, he's referring to the wrinkles around his eyes as rays of sun, and in non-fiction, he's describing a real life situation, so how the school uniforms don't allow the skin to breathe, in his opinion. So linking paragraphs, your paragraphs should follow on from each other in a logical order. One way of connecting them is to use transitional words and phrases. This indicates the relationship between a paragraph and the previous one. These are used in both fiction and non-fiction. Those should be used sparingly in both. So to add a point, obviously, I'm not sure if you've come across this, but as simple as it can be, to add a point, in addition, furthermore, and to make a comparison, likewise, similarly. So to make a contrast, on the other hand, conservatively, and to conclude in summary and overall. So these are little phrases that you can use to make a comparison, to make a point, to make a contrast, and overall concluding a paragraph. Okay. So the key points are to remember is to decide on the order of your paragraphs. Use topic sentences to summarize your paragraphs, and link your paragraphs, and consider using transition words and phrases. Okay. So the next thing is sentence structures and variety. So varying how sentences start is important because changing the way that sentences open make a piece of writing more interesting and engaging for the reader. So there are many ways to do this, which we will go into detail later on in the module. So the sentence types. Aim to use a variety of sentences types in your writing. So too much of one thing can become boring. A simple sentence, for example, so a simple sentence contains one clause or a main idea. It includes a subject and a verb and sometimes an object as well. So for example, I like books. So instead of like is a verb and an object, so my cat is wild. My cat equals a subject and is a verb and was an adjective. So using short sentences or simple sentences, but including your adjectives and adverbs. So compound sentences. A compound sentence contains two main clauses joined by a connective that shows a relationship between the two pieces of information. For example, I like books and I read regularly. James sings loudly, so I turn the music up. My cat is wild, although she sometimes comes indoors. So the connectives are basically and, so, and although. These are connectives, basically meaning what join two sentences together, okay? So the curriculum key fact is that you do not need a comma in the middle of a compound sentence. Other connectives include but, and, whereas, so, although, after. These are the different connectives that you can use within a sentence to make your writing more interesting. Okay. So complex sentences, a complex sentence combines a main clause with a subordinate clause. So a subordinate clause adds extra information to a main clause. A subordinate clause needs a main clause to make sense. So for example, when he's in the car, James sings loudly. My cat, which is 5 years old, is wild. So fragments. Fragments are partial sentences. Phrases or single words can be used sparingly to emphasize a point or add interest in your writing. So for example, she would be 16 on Friday, 16 already, and he was looking forward to the trip, China at last. So these little commas and full stops between two words, which just make the writing more interesting and better to read. So the different types of sentences that we've covered: simple sentences, compound sentences, and then we've come up to complex sentences and fragment sentences. So if I was you, I would go over these. And make sure that you include them in your writing just to make the writing more interesting and making it look more organized. So, key points to remember. Use traditional words and phrases to link your paragraphs. For example, connectives. Let me just go over that again. So, connectives to connect your sentences, as simple as it can seem, include but, the word and, the word whereas, so, although, after, so. I've already said that. Basically, these are the connectives which do come in handy and are very useful for your writing. Okay, so also it vary the ways you open your sentences and use a variety of sentence types. Okay, and the variety of sentence types, as I mentioned before, these 4 particular ones. Okay, so let's go back to the key things to remember. So for the organizing information idea, key things to remember: decide on the order of your paragraphs, use a topic sentence to summarize your paragraphs, link your paragraphs, and consider using transition words or phrases. Okay, and what do transition words include? All these words over here. It just links the paragraph together. Okay, and then another thing was use transitional words and phrases to link your paragraphs, vary the ways you open your sentences, and use a variety of sentence types. So that again was very simple in order to how to organize your writing and your information and ideas. I hope this made sense to you. Again, it was a very simple lesson. So your activity is to just go over and revise your connectives and your simple sentences, and just to make sure that you know what the connectives are and what kind of sentences you could include in your writing. Okay, this would take roughly to 20 minutes. I just suggest you just go over the slides again and just help, and it will help you to make sense of how to organize your information and ideas for a piece of writing, let it be non-fictional or fictional, any writing of your choice. And plus this would help you for your exam. Okay, then, so that was this was the second to last lesson. So next lesson tomorrow, we're going to be focusing on vocabulary. Tomorrow, inshallah, that would be the last lesson for the writing module, and then we would go into the reading, hopefully. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Again, it was very short and sweet, but we will be going into detail later on in the module. So I hope you enjoy this lesson. Take care of yourselves and see you tomorrow, inshallah.